Hey YouTube, this is Zach7365. You can just call me Zach. And I want to share with you guys the Speedroid list that I took to locals with me 2 weeks ago and somehow got first place with. A couple people were asking about it. One of the other dudes who shows up and plays in the tournaments that we usually run, a couple people in his comment section were asking about it since they did kind of like a tournament review. So I figured, hey, might as well provide a list. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the list. We play one copy of Terra Top. I understand why Terra Top's at 1. Doesn't mean that I'm happy about it. Basically lets you search the deck whenever it's summoned for a Speedroid and you add it to hand. Didn't lock you into any wins, but they did fix that with Marble Machine. So whenever this card is normal summoned, you get to add a win monster. You get to add a Speedroid, You get to add a Speedroid from your deck to your hand, and then you are locked into win monsters until the end of the turn. So they did him correctly. If they would have done that with Terra Top would not be at 1 right now. Just saying. We are also playing 3 copies of Win. This card lets you discard itself and another win monster you control to search the deck for a win monster that has 1500 or less defense. So she can search the deck for any Speedroid that you may need, whether it be Terra Top, Marble Machine, Second Speedroids, which is a good card as well, or even the Car Turbo. So, Second Speedroids, it is more than just a body to go into a free rank 3. It also has another effect. So this card, you can tribute this card, special summon any Speedroid tuner from your deck to the field. And you can only special summon this card once per turn, and you can only activate its effect once per turn. It also locks you into wins. So this card is a mandatory 3-of because this card gets you into Din Din Daiko Duke, which then sets your graveyard up to bring back any Speedroid tuner to extend your synchro plays even further, so you can actually make more than like a Crystal Wing and then like a level 5. You know, it's great for extending. It gets you into the pieces you need to do your full combo. Car Turbo is actually a new card that came out that lets you special summon if you control Wind Monster. It's a level 3 Wind tuner. And then it also has another effect where you can banish itself and another Speedroid in your grave to increase all Wind monsters you currently control by 800 until the end of the turn. And there's a cute little thing you can do where you banish this along with the Terra Top to boost all your monsters. And then if you have like a Chambara on the field, when Chambara would leave the field from either being synchroed off, linked off, destroyed in battle, whatever, whenever it hits the grave, you will be able to grab the Terra Top from your banish pile, add it back to your hand for a follow-up on the next turn. Which, that's a cool little interaction you can do. Alright, we'll go ahead and clear these up. And we'll get into some of the 2 and 1-ofs that we play of the Speedroid package. We are only playing 2 copies of Din Din Daiko Duke. This card is absolutely insane. Like, this is probably one of the best targets to bring off Attack and Tom board. So whenever this card is in your graveyard, you can banish it to special summon 1 Speedroid tuner from your hand or graveyard except for itself. So bringing this off Attack and Tom board, this gives you the body, gives you the tuner to make your synchro play, and then later on, this also gives you the ability to extend even further to go into maybe double Crystal Wing, Shen Shen, just depends on the hand. We play 2 because you need 1 in the deck to summon off Attack and Tom board. You do draw. I have drawn both of them at the same time. It's alright. You can still do stuff. It just sucks. So, play 2. We don't want to see it in the opening hand, so 3 is too many. 2 is the right ratio for me. You can also experiment with it, but 2 felt correct to me. We are also playing 1 copy of Rubber Band Plane. Whenever a monster is special summoned to our side of the field, we can special summon this from our hand, and then we are locked into wins until the rest of the turn. It also has another effect that lets it target a monster on the field and then reduce their attack by 600 until the end of the turn. That comes up every now and then, but it's mostly that first effect and being able to have that free wind extender that's searchable to get into our Link monster or even go into a synchro play with into like Kite Drake or something like that. So not a bad card. Definitely at least a one of. Nope, we are not to that yet. We are going to go into Double Yo-Yo. This honestly is probably one of the best cards and one of my favorite in the whole archetype aside from Terratop. So when this card is normal summon, you get to target one level 3 or lower Speedroid in your graveyard and special summon it to the field. So most of the time you're searching this and Terratop off of the Rubber Band Shooter, which is the Link monster. So you're going to be able to get that search to hand. I wish I could push myself to play more than one Double Yo-Yo, but you really don't want to see it. You want to be able to search it off of the Link monster, personally. Speaking of some other tech choices for the Link monster, there's Horse Stilts. This is in weird scenarios whenever you draw into a Daiko Duke, or you draw into a Red-Eye Die, or just something that you need to special summon out of hand. So, when this card is normal summon, you get to special summon one Speedroid in your hand, one level 4 or lower Speedroid in your hand. And then on the following turn, you can banish this card from your graveyard, and you can actually foolish any wind monster from your deck to the grave. So it's actually a really good card. Again, play it as a one of. You don't want to see it in your opening hand. You want to see these cards, like your actual starters and your extenders. Going into the last Speedroid we play one copy of Red-Eye Die. Originally, I wasn't playing this card at 1. I wasn't even playing this card to begin with. But through testing, I felt like I really needed a level 1 tuner or some type of level modulation. Because whenever this card is summoned, you get to target one Speedroid monster you control besides itself, and choose a level 1 through 6, and that monster becomes that level. So it's probably one of the most busted pieces of support that can go into a synchro deck. This really helps you get into Hagoida, which is probably the best synchro monster in the extra deck. So that's for all the Speedroid monsters. Let's go into some of the extenders and just the other monsters we're playing. One Virtual World Nyan Nyan. We're playing Nyan Nyan because we are playing the Emergency Teleport. And this card is also a level 3, and we play a lot of level 3 extenders. So whenever those are summoned, and this is engrave, either by being discarded by Win or using it as material to go into the Link monster, you can bring this back as a free tuner. So it's a free body. Most of the time, games 2 and 3 get sided out along with the E-Tally, but it is just a nice inclusion in the deck to begin with. Next, we're playing one copy of Primitive Butterfly. Primitive Butterfly has an effect that lets you summon it whenever you control no monsters. It's kind of like a Cyber Dragon. And then it can also increase the level of all insect monsters you control by 1. So you can go into a Shen pretty easily with it. Originally, this was at 3, and then the next card was at 1, but I swapped the ratio around, and I like it a lot better. So we are playing 3 copies of Red-Haired Hasty Horse. Think of this card like a anti-Mech Knight. Okay, so you need a column that has no cards in it. And you summon it to a zone in that column on your side of the field. And you can just special summon it once per turn. If a card goes into that column, this card will be destroyed. So it's a free body that extends itself. It's a level 5, which actually matters because it's a level 5, and then you got all these level 3 synchro, these level 3 tuners. Or you even have Takken Tomborg that can get you into a Din Din Daiko Duke. And then this can get you into Kite Drake, which will force out any type of negates, or it'll just clear the way for you to go in for the OTK. So honestly, these cards are absolutely wonderful. I wish I had there's a better option. Quick Draw Synchron's one, but discarding cards in this deck just kind of hurts since we're already relying on Win. And you use most of your hand in your combos if you can to do as much as possible. And I think that's it. We're getting into our hand traps and our disruptions now, so we're going to go for 3 Godarla. Godarla because Wind. You can discard it off a wind, the wind channeler for your searches. You can still activate the... You can still special summon this card even if you're locked into another card. Because we do get locked into winds very easily in this deck, so I felt like this was probably the best option for a Kaiju route for the going second variant. We are also playing the 3 Lancia. This was the 500 IQ big forehead idea from the Speedroid Facebook group that I'm in. Absolutely appreciate the advice they gave on that. Like that was 500 IQ as can be. Main decking the Lancias. And then we're playing the 3 copies of Droll and Lockbird because it's a wind. And we can search it. We can also discard it if we need to. Normal summon it, plus an extender, go into the Link monster to actually do our combo. Overall, it's a great card. And being able to play 2 of the most high impact hand traps in this format, I feel like that's honestly really good. Going into our spells now. We are playing 3 copies of Speed Recovery. This is basically an archetype Monster Reborn for Speedroids. And then on the following turn, you can banish a copy of it, add any Speedroid in your graveyard back to your hand, and this is also not once per turn. So you can revive 3 monsters in one turn if you drew this, or you can banish 3 copies of it in one turn and add Speedroids to hand. So it's very, very helpful. We're also playing 1 actual copy of Monster Reborn because it's a synchro deck. I feel like reviving monsters and putting monsters on board just helps. We are also going to be playing the 1 copy of E-Tally. And then we're also going to be playing the 1 copy of Instant Fusion and Call by the Grave. E-Tally is for the Nyan Nyan. Instant Fusion is for the Raijin in the extra deck, which we'll get to in just a second. And then the Call by is just because Call by. Extra deck. So, we are playing 2 copies of Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, 1 copy of Shen, 1 copy of Hama the Conquering Bow. This card is able to do two attacks in the same turn whenever it's made with a Synchro monster, which is very easy to do. Same conditions as making a Crystal Wing. So usually, if you have the ability to make double Crystal Wing, you'll make Crystal Wing in this, and then that's just OTK. We're playing 1 copy of Kite Drake. Kite Drake is honestly such a good card. It either blanket negates all effects on the field, or it can destroy every card on the field besides itself. And also, if it gets destroyed by your opponent's card effect or just card in general, you get to search any Speedroid and add it to hand. So if they gamma this, then you just search out Terror Top and OTK them. So yeah, Kite Drake's a really good card. We're playing the 1 Wind Pegasus. This is mostly just for the 7 target. I felt like it was a lot better than actually just playing Clear Wing or Fast Wing. But yeah, a lot of the time this is just being sent with the Link monster, but it does come up that you can use it to pop a spell, so that's all right. We are playing the 1 Charge Warrior. It's just a good level 6, easy to get us into Shen and also drawing a card. It's also a really good target to discard off of the Link monster to get into whatever we need. If we need like Attack and Tomborg or a Car Turbo, we can always set up that way. We're also playing 1 copy of Juju. Just honestly great removal for the deck. The deck's kind of lacking that, so it's very nice to have that. And then we're gonna go ahead and get into the main man of the show, High Speedroid Hagoida. This card, you can tribute this card, increase the level of all monsters you currently control by 1. That's an okay effect, but the effect that we really care about on this card is that if you control a Speedroid tuner, you can special summon this back from the graveyard once per turn. So you can make Clear Wing with this, or you can make Crystal Wing with this, and then Daiko Duke, bring back the Car Turbo, and then summon this back, make another Crystal Wing. So honestly, a really good card. Probably the best card in Speedroids. Right now, anyway. Until we get the new stuff. One copy of Chumbara. This is just an OTK machine. Also, it has that neat little effect that I mentioned with the car turbos, banishing the Terratop play. Then we get into our Instant Fusion target, Invoked Raijin. Came up a little bit. The fact that it's a level 5 really helps. Then we're playing the Leviair, Sea Dragon, because we do make ranks. We can make rank 3s in this deck. Leviair bringing back like a Daiko Duke and then putting it into Grave. Really, it helps. We also have Totem Bird. Totem Bird's a spell and trap negate, so the deck really lacks that right now without the new cards from the set. And then we're playing two of the Rubber Band Shooters. You banish a Synchro monster, and then you reveal Speedroids whose level equal the total level of the Synchro that you banished. Then your opponent randomly selects one, adds it to your hand, and the other one gets sent to the graveyard. Good for setting up your hand, getting into play, setting up the graveyard, whatever you need to do with it. 2 is mandatory, I feel like, because you can make 2. And I feel like if you only had the 1, you probably would really miss the second one. Side deck is all at the personal preference. I did already change a couple cards in it, mainly just the 3 prohibitions, but I'll explain once we get to it. So originally there was 2 Ash Blossoms and a Ghost Ogre in the main, until I tried what someone in the group, the Facebook group, recommended, and I gotta say they were absolutely correct. I did side those in against the Blue Eyes player, but it was okay. We played some back row hate, actually a lot of back row hate. Feather Duster, 2 Cyclones, a Reboot, 3 copies of Evenly Matched, and that's it for the back row hate. We played 2 copies of Nibiru just to fill out the last couple slots. And it just worked with how I was side decking with the 5 cards in mind. Usually just depend on the matchup. And then these were prohibitions, but I found this card and it's absolutely dumb. Gravity Collapse. When your opponent would summon a monster, send 1 face-up Synchro monster you control to the grave, negate the summon, and if you do, destroy that monster, and your opponent cannot summon a monster until the end of this turn. Yeah. Haven't tested it too much, but in theory, this card seems absolutely busted. Prohibition, though, I never drew it. I sided it a couple times and never saw it, unfortunately. But in theory, it was to help against the Eldritch matchup if it popped up. Could also call Nibiru with it if I'm forced to go first. Or just whatever, like, core, like, or key piece to their combo that I just needed to get rid of and negate. But yeah, that's it, guys. I know this video is probably sloppy as can be. I've tried recording it all morning, and I've been up all night, so this will probably be the one that I submit or upload. So let me know what you think down below. Any questions or ideas for the deck, let me know. I'll probably update this. I'll definitely update this once I get the new support in and it gets released in the TCG. But other than that, guys, that's all I got to say. Hope y'all have a wonderful day, and peace out.